As a dancer myself, I can see how the nuances of the movement came into play with the cinematography. So every time there was a leg tilt, the camera would follow the leg tilts and kind of distort in a way that I thought was really amazing. I loved the overhead shots. I loved this idea of kind of like, at least how I interpret it, kind of like the male gaze looking down on them. And I thought that was great. I also really love the use of the ropes, in which I feel like the ropes kind of symbolized being restrained for all these years that men have really kept us down, and then being able to throw it out in the pail that said the male gaze. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I feel like the icing on the cake was really the use of the red. Again, I interpreted that as kind of, the blood, sweat, and tears that we've put through the years of just trying to get even to somewhat of the same level as men, even though there's even still a lot to do and a long way to go. But I feel like using the red kind of symbolized that blood, sweat, and tears. I think the use of a red banner also symbolized that. I really, really enjoyed that as well. Also their demeanors, their anger, their resilience, it's kind of like the opposite of what they expect women to do, though. It's just like women should smile more. They look really aggressive, or this, that, and the third. And I feel like them having this very serious, we have something to do and we're going to get it done attitude was just phenomenal.
Not only are the dancers on a literal bridge, but they're also a bridge between audiences and the messages that they're carrying. And I think this short seems to highlight the burdens that women have to carry in order to be seen as human. And I think part of this short also explains that women have to let go of their tethers to the male gaze and patriarchy, and that it's a violence that's already unfortunately inherited from like inception or already built in due to the strength of the patriarchy. And I think also like another part that I noticed is, even when they're taking off the t-shirts that have been, sort of like the violence has already been inflicted by the patriarchy. Even when there's liberation and they're stripping it there, there's the imprint of the patriarchy and the damage is still like on the skin. It's still imprinted there.
It was choreographed really well. It was very cohesive. Thematically, musically with the piece, as well as visually. I think this has a really interesting sci-fi technological aesthetic to it, almost dystopian, and I think you do a really good job portraying that in the piece through the movement. I think it's very sharp, and you really utilize the entire space and the contrast of fluidity within the dancers as well. I think this was a really interesting piece. I think it was shot really, really well. I think there are a lot of really great transitions and angles in this. I think the cinematography was great, and it really highlighted the performers.
There was a lot of anger in this. The beginning is very unnerving, where it's just silent, and then the music just kind of booms in. But you could tell there was a lot of anger in these young ladies' faces. And you could tell that they've probably had some bad experiences with men, to the point where they're making it forceful, saying the truth, that men and women are equal. It's what it is, and you could tell that the experience in whoever created this piece and the anger in the dancers' faces probably are fighting for this. It's either a culture where it's not true yet, it's in a facility or a place where they're fighting for it, and they don't have that feeling of equality. And you can get that through the movements and the dances, because they're aggressive and angry. Things are turning, and it really makes you feel for them, because that type of inequality would make you angry. The red paint symbolizing blood and stuff also shows a little bit of the fight in domestic abuse, and that women have endured blood to get where we are today. This film has a lot of meanings, but it was really well done with the dance, just because the music went along with the very aggressive feeling.
I thought this was really, really powerful. I thought it really used dance and movement and imagery with the use of the black and white outfits and then the stark red to really get a point across and to really make a bold statement and to really highlight something without words, without, dialogue or anything like that. And I think it worked really, really, really well. Like I said, I thought it was really, really powerful. I thought it was really impactful. And the dancing was really beautiful. It was really well done. And the choreography and the also the representation of the different types of women that were on the bridge and the different races, the different looks. I really appreciated it. I thought that was really well done. Just to, at least try to include a variety.
Very stark and very attention-getting, image there, and then they, begin their dance. I wasn't sure what kind of movie this was at first, because I didn't know. I was like, oh, this looks like a science fiction thing, maybe, and it was kind of in a way, it was dystopian. But then when they started dancing, I was like, oh, wow, it's a dance piece. It's kind of combining dystopian sci-fi with this feminist message. And it was very cool, So I loved the way it was shot. And the performers did a great job. They were wonderful dancers, and I loved just the choice of aesthetic, of costume, of everybody had this stark realism in their expression and as actors as well, that worked really nicely.
Encapsulates showing that all genders are equal and that there aren't really many differences between man and woman. For one, I think the music choice and the choreography was very beautiful, and I feel like the red paint was very potent in its symbolism. I feel like this is a really good reminder of not only the fact that we're not that different, but there's also a lot of things that women face and deal with that honestly I don't think men will ever be able to fully understand. Things like menstruation, childbirth. These are things that we physically cannot do. Yet the fact that there's this imbalance is an issue.